Let's begin by offering our respects to ISKCON founder Acharya and our preeminent Shiksha Guru, His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Itti Namine. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swa Padantikam Vande Ham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Saha Gana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Rishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpa Taruvyascha Kripa Sindhuvya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shrivasati Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 Okay, we welcome all of you to our weekly online Krishna book classes. Thank you very much for joining. We have with us here today Pitul Alvani, Aja, Auntie Neeta, Karuna, Kamala Nandini Mataji is there. Then we have Sheetal Latkar, Joli Nandwani. We have Shri Radha, Wendy, Vivansh, Dipti Adnani, Priyesh, Swapna Latkar, Meenakshi, Devina, Upasna, Lavina Dadlani, Priyanka Jha, and my husband is there. Okay. So what did we see in the previous class?
Kidnapping Rukmiṇī? Krishna kid.
Yeah, Krishna has kidnapped Rukmiṇī because Rukmiṇī wrote a letter to Krishna and requested him to kidnap her because she doesn't want to marry Shishupal, yes. And then, anything else?
And
Anybody can recall anything else, wants to add something?
Shri Krishna also, he ran away from the battlefield.
Oh, yes, Krishna ran away from the battlefield. That's why he is called as
Rana.
yes, Ranachor.
Ranachor.
That's the name he got. But actually, he is not. Why did he leave the battlefield? Because
He want to help Rukmiṇī, right? That's the reason.
yeah, he has a more important business to attend to. No, Rukmiṇī has written a letter, and she's going to be married off the next day. So it's more urgent to attend to that than to be
In the battlefield.
fighting Jarasandha and his associates. Okay. So today, for the mercy of Sri Guru and Sri Krishna, we will be seeing chapter number 54 of the Krishna book titled Krishna defeats all the princes and takes Rukmiṇī home to Dvārakā. Okay, Swapna, are you there?
Yes. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So Swapna will be doing the reading today for us. Please.
You can hear me, right?
Yes.
Jarasandha and all the princes were very angry at Krishna for having kidnapped Rukmiṇī. Struck by Rukmiṇī's beauty, they had fallen from the backs of their horses and elephants, but now they began to stand up and properly arm themselves. Picking up their bows and arrows, they began to chase Krishna on their chariots, horses, and elephants. To check their progress, the soldiers of the Yadu dynasty turned and faced them. Thus, terrible fighting began between the two belligerent groups. The princes opposing Krishna, who were led by Jarasandha, and all expert in fighting, shot their arrows at the Yadu soldiers, just as a cloud splashes the face of a mountain with torrents of rain. Gathered on the face of a mountain, a cloud does not move very much, and therefore the force of rain is much more severe on a mountain than anywhere else.
Okay, so who is following Krishna and Rukmiṇī?
Jarasandha and all other princes.
Yeah, Jarasandha and the princesses. But she was supposed to be married to
Shishupal.
Shishupal. Is Shishupal following?
No.
No. So, and then who is facing them?
Yadu dynasty.
Yeah, the soldiers of the Yadu dynasty. Who has come there with the soldiers of the Yadu dynasty? Did Krishna go there with the soldiers?
Balaram.
Yeah, Balaram has gone there, no? Out of concern for his brother, Balaram has gone there with his soldiers. So now there is a clash between the two parties. Let's see next.
The opposing princes were determined to defeat Krishna and recapture Rukmiṇī from his custody, and they fought with him as severely as possible. Rukmiṇī, seated by the side of Krishna, saw arrows raining from the opposing party onto the face of the Yadu soldiers. In a fearful attitude, she looked upon Krishna's face, expressing her gratefulness that he had taken such a great risk for her sake only. Her eyes moving, she appeared sorry, and Krishna, who could immediately understand her mind, encouraged her with these words. My dear Rukmiṇī, don't worry. Please rest assured that the soldiers of the Yadu dynasty will kill all the opposing soldiers without delay.
So Krishna actually tells Rukmiṇī, the Acharyas explain that your soldiers will be able to kill the opposing soldiers. So he's saying that yes, all this entire army now of mine belongs to you and they are here ready to protect you. Like that. Next.
As Krishna was speaking with Rukmiṇī, The commanders of the Yadu dynasty soldiers, headed by Lord Balrama, who is also known as Kṛṣṇa, as well as by Gada, not tolerating the defiant attitude of the opposing soldiers, began to strike their horses, elephants, and chariots with arrows. As the fighting progressed, the princes and the soldiers of the enemy began to fall from their horses, elephants, and chariots. Within a short time, millions of severed heads, decorated with helmets and earrings, had fallen on the battlefield. The soldiers' hands were severed, along with their bows and arrows and clubs. Arms were piling upon arms, thighs upon thighs, and horses upon horses. Similarly, other animals such as camels, elephants, and asses, as well as infantry soldiers, all fell with severed head.
So how many people have lost their lives because of this combat?
Millions.
Millions, yes. See, millions of severed heads are there. Let's continue.
When the enemy, headed by Jarasandha, found that they were gradually being defeated by the soldiers of Kṛṣṇa, they thought it unwise to risk losing their enemies in the battle for the sake of Shishupal. Shishupal himself should have fought to rescue Rukmiṇī from the hands of Kṛṣṇa. But when the soldiers saw Shishupal was not competent to fight with Kṛṣṇa, they decided not to lose their armies unnecessarily. Therefore, they ceased fighting and dispersed.
So now Jarasandha and his entire troop, they have all dispersed. They are going back because they think that it is not wise to risk losing their armies. So this is a decision they took after millions of them have already lost their lives. But now they want to leave because they think it's not wise to do so. Let's continue.
But actually, they decided to go back because Shishupala was not participating in the war, right?
Exactly, yes. Shishupal was not there, yes. Yes.
It's because of that they were retreating.
Yes, it's because they are thinking that why should we risk losing our armies if
Yeah,
even
exactly.
Shishupal is not participating? What for?
Right,
Like
right,
that.
right.
Yeah, let's continue.
Some of the princes, as a matter of etiquette, appeared before Shishupal. They saw that Shishupal was discouraged, like one who has lost his wife. His face appeared dried up, he had lost all his energy, and all the lustre of his body had disappeared. They addressed Shishupal thus: "Oh, dear Shishupal, don't be discouraged in this way. You belong to the royal order and are the chief amongst fighters. There is no question of distress or happiness for a person like you, because neither of these conditions is everlasting. Take courage. Don't be disappointed by this temporary reversal. After all, we are not the final actors. As puppets dance in the hands of a magician, we are all dancing by the will of the Supreme, and according to his plan alone, we suffer distress or enjoy happiness. We should therefore be equipoised in all circumstances."
Mataji, you have muted yourself.
Oh, I'm sorry. Thank you for informing. Yeah, so what was I saying? That these princes, they are trying to encourage Shishupal by saying that they are all dancing according to the will of the Supreme Lord, and everyone suffers distress or enjoys happiness because of his will. But that very person, that very Supreme Lord, Kṛṣṇa, they are fighting against him on one side, and on the other side, they are trying to encourage Shishupal by saying that, oh, everything is destiny and everything goes according to God's will. So this is the position of these people with demoniac mentalities. Let's continue.
Although in the beginning, the princes had been full of hope for success in their heroic action, after their defeat, they could only try to encourage Shishupal with flattering words. Thus, Shishupal, instead of marrying Rukmiṇī, had to be satisfied with the flattering words of his friends, and he returned home in disappointment. The kings who had come to assist him, also disappointed, then returned to their respective kingdoms.
So Shishupal has gone back to his kingdom, and all these other kings also, who were opposing Krishna before, now all of them have returned to their kingdoms. Now who is left to create a problem?
The brother.
Yeah, the brother Rukmiṇī, no? Let's see. Let's continue.
The whole catastrophe of the defeat was due to the envious nature of Rukmini's elder brother Rukmi. Having seen his sister forcibly taken away by Krishna after he had planned to marry her to Shishupal, Rukmi was frustrated. So after Shishupal, his friend and intended brother-in-law, returned home, Rukmi, very much agitated, was determined to teach Krishna a lesson personally. He called for his own soldiers, a military phalanx, consisting of several thousand elephants, horses, chariots, and infantry. And equipped with this military strength, he began to follow Krishna to Dvārakā. To show his prestige, Rukmi promised all the returning kings, "You could not help Shishupal marry my sister Rukmiṇī, but I cannot allow Rukmiṇī to be taken away by Krishna. I shall teach him a lesson. Now I'm going to follow him." He presented himself as a big commander and vowed before all the princes, "Unless I kill Krishna in the fight and bring back my sister from his clutches, I shall not return to my capital city, Kundina. I make this vow before you all, and you will see that I shall fulfill it." After thus vibrating all these boasting words, Rukmi immediately got on his chariot and told his chariot driver to pursue Krishna. He said, "I want to fight with him immediately. This cowherd boy has become very proud of his tricky ways of fighting with the Kshatriyas, but today I shall teach him a good lesson. Because he had the impudence to kidnap my sister, I, with my sharp arrows, shall teach him a very good lessons indeed." Thus, this unintelligent man, Rukmi, ignorant of the extent of the strength and activities of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, voiced his impudent threats.
So what is the vow that Rukmi has taken?
Come back unless he has got Krishna defeated.
He's not going to return to his city until he defeats Krishna. That's a vow he has taken. Let's continue.
In great stupidity, he soon stood before Krishna, telling him repeatedly, "Stop for a minute and fight with me." After saying this, he drew his bow and directly shot 3 forceful arrows against Krishna's body. Then he condemned Krishna as the most abominable descendant of the Yadu dynasty and asked him to stand before him for a minute so that he could teach him a good lesson. "You're carrying away my sister, just like a crow stealing clarified butter, meant used in a sacrifice. You're proud of your military strength, but you cannot fight according to the regulative principles. You have stolen my sister, and now I shall relieve you of your false prestige. You can keep my sister in your possession only until I beat you to the ground for good with my arrows."
Let's continue.
Lord Krishna, after hearing all these crazy words from Rukmi, immediately shot an arrow and severed the string of Rukmi's bow, making him unable to use another arrow. Rukmi immediately took another bow and shot another 5 arrows at Krishna. Being attacked for the second time, Krishna again severed Rukmi's bowstring. Rukmi took a third bow and Krishna again cut its string. This time, to teach Rukmi a lesson, Krishna shot 6 arrows at him and then shot another 8 arrows, killing 4 horses with 4 arrows, killing the chariot driver with another arrow, and chopping off the upper portion of Rukmi's chariot, including the flag, with the remaining 3 arrows.
Continue.
Rukmi, having run out of arrows, took assistance from swords, shields, tridents, lances, and similar weapons used for fighting hand to hand. But Krishna immediately broke them all in the same way. Being repeatedly baffled in his attempts, Rukmi took his sword and ran swiftly towards Krishna, just as a fly proceeds towards fire. But as soon as Rukmi reached Krishna, Krishna cut his weapon to pieces. This time, Krishna took out his sharp sword and was about to kill him immediately, but Rukmi's sister, Rukmiṇī, understanding that this time Krishna would not excuse her brother, fell down at Krishna's lotus feet in a grievous tone, trembling with great fear, began to plead with her husband.
So now Rukmiṇī is now at Krishna's lotus feet, no? And she's going to offer some prayers to her husband. Let's see what Rukmiṇī has to say.
Rukmiṇī first addressed Krishna as Yogeshwara. Yogeshwara means one who is possessed of inconceivable opulence and energy. Krishna possesses inconceivable opulence and energy, whereas Rukmiṇī's brother had only limited military potency. Krishna is immeasurable, whereas her brother was measured in every step of his way. Therefore, Rukmi was not comparable even to an insignificant insect before the unlimited power of Krishna. She also addressed Krishna as the God of gods. There are many powerful demigods such as Lord Brahma, Lord Shiva, Indra, Chandra, Varuna, but Krishna is the Lord of all these gods. Whereas Rukmiṇī's brother was not only an ordinary human being, but in fact the lowest of all because he had no understanding of Krishna. In other words, a human being who has no conception of the actual position of Krishna is the lowest in human society. Then Rukmiṇī addressed Krishna as Mahabhuja, which means one with unlimited strength. She also addressed Krishna as Jagatpati, the master of the whole cosmic manifestation. In comparison, her brother was only an ordinary prince.
So Krishna actually has a sword in his hand, no? And that's when Rukmiṇī begins to offer these prayers. And first she's referring to Krishna by different names. So what names of Krishna we see here in this paragraph?
Yogeshwar,
Yogeshwar. What does that name mean?
Opulences. Krishna has all opulences.
Lord of the all mystic yoga.
Yeah, because he has inconceivable opulence and energy. So he is called as Yogeshwar. Also, that name means one who has the master of all mystic power. No, in the Bhagavad Gita, Arjuna refers to Krishna as first Yogeshwar. Then, after he sees the universal form of Krishna, he refers to him as Mahayogeshwar. Okay, what other names are there?
Mahabhuja,
Mahabhuja. What does that name mean?
one with the unlimited strength.
Yeah, one with unlimited strength. Okay, and what other name is there?
Then Jagatpati,
Jagatpati. What does that name mean?
the master of the whole cosmic manifestation.
Jagatpati, master of the whole cosmic manifestation. So she's comparing how her brother is insignificant compared to Krishna.
Mm-hmm.
Now let's see what next Rukmiṇī says.
In this way, Rukmiṇī compared the position of Rukmi with that of Krishna and very feelingly pleaded with her husband not to kill her brother just at the auspicious time of her being united with Krishna, but to excuse him. In other words, she displayed her real position as a woman. She was happy to get Krishna as a husband at the moment when her marriage to another was to be performed, but she did not want it to be at the loss of her elder brother, who, after all, loved her younger sister and wanted to hand her over to the one who, according to his own calculations, was a better man. While Rukmiṇī was praying to Krishna for the life of her brother, her whole body trembled. And because of her anxiety, her face appeared to dry up and her throat became choked. And due to her trembling, the ornaments of her body loosened and fell scattered on the ground. In this manner, when Rukmiṇī was very much perturbed, she fell down on the ground, and Lord Krishna immediately became compassionate and agreed not to kill the foolish Rukmiṇī. But at that same time, he wanted to give him some light punishment, so he tied him up with a piece of cloth and snipped at his mustache, beard, and hair, keeping some spots here and there.
So Krishna, upon Rukmiṇī's request. Okay. So Rukmiṇī has requested Krishna not to kill her brother, and upon her request, Krishna decides not to kill him, but still he gives him a punishment. What is the punishment?
Ties him around a tree, and he snips at his mustache.
Here.
Okay.
And the beard, no? And
So he tied him with a piece of cloth, snipped at his mustache. So he's cut off his mustache partially, not completely. Also his beard and hair. So he's given him a very unique haircut. This is how Krishna has decided to punish Rukmi. Now, why do you think Krishna wants to punish Rukmi?
So he could when he's defeated in the war and now he's punished because in the war later on Balram Prabhuji says that Balramji says that when two people are doing war with each other, they're not compassionate to each other, and he did something wrong, so that's why he's being punished because
Okay, but Krishna is always compassionate. Doesn't matter one is an enemy or one is a friend. Krishna is always compassionate. No, God is always compassionate. He's not having some.
because he wants to take Rukmini back.
No, he has already defeated him. He can take him anyway.
I'm saying his sister. He came to take back his sister also because he insulted Krishna, talked to him in a very nasty way.
Okay, so is Krishna taking revenge?
No.
He spoke to him in a nasty way. Is Krishna doing it because he wants to take revenge?
In the war, why would he take revenge?
So then, why is Krishna disfiguring Rukmi?
To teach him a lesson.
Because Rukmi attacked him.
Teach him a lesson.
Huh?
To teach him a lesson because he attacked him. He came after him.
Yeah, so what? Does it matter to Krishna?
No,
Teach everyone a lesson, maybe.
To teach whom a lesson?
Everyone, like when he go back, everyone will see him, right?
See, we
I
have
don't know.
to see, okay. See, we have to always remember that Krishna is most merciful. He doesn't have have the attitude of, oh, you attacked me, so I'm going to teach you a lesson. No, he doesn't have the attitude that I want to belittle you because I want to show you that I'm the one in control. No, Krishna does not have that attitude. So the acharyas explain that actually Krishna wanted to crush the pride of Rukmi for his own well-being. Because as long as we have pride, then we cannot progress in our spiritual life. So it's very, very important. So if Krishna sees someone is very proud, then Krishna, out of his mercy for that person, because he desires the well-being of the person, he will crush the pride of the person. So he wanted to dissolve the pride of Rukmi. And that's the reason why Krishna has disfigured Rukmi. Okay. And see here, Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, he explains why Rukmini is pleading with Krishna. To forgive Rukmi. Is it because she was affectionate towards her brother, or is there some other reason? So let's see what Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says. Can you read, please?
Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur's commentary on Srimad Bhagavatam 10:54-32. Sharartha Darshini. Rukmini thought. Sharartha Darshini. Rukmini thought, what will people think if they know that my brother was killed before my eyes? She was filled with fear because of this, not only out of affection for her brother. The prema of the queens of Dvārakā, known as Samanya Jasa Prema, proper love, is dependent on public opinion, whereas the prema of the Vraja Gopis is known as Samartha Prema, which is much stronger because it is not dependent at all on the opinion of the public. However, one should not think that the general characteristic of prema, namely exclusive possessiveness of Vishnu in a loving relationship, is lacking in Rukmini, since within herself she actually had no affection at all for Rukmi and other demons like him. This will be described later in detail. Exclusive possessiveness is explained in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. Can you read that?
Ananya mamata Vishnau mamata prema sangata bhaktir iti uchyate bhishma prahlado uddhava naradahi.
When one is completely apathetic to all other objects and has developed an exclusive sense of ownership or possessiveness in relation to Lord Vishnu, thinking of Vishnu and no one else as his object of love, such as such an awakening is called Prema Bhakti by Bhishma, Prahlad, Uddhava, and Narada.
Okay, so I think there is a mistake here. I must have typed it wrong. It should be such an awakening is called Prema Bhakti, right? I'll edit this before I share the slides in the group. Okay, so what is Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur explaining to us? What is the reason that Rukmiṇī is pleading with Krishna to forgive Rukmiṇī? Is not because she is attached to her brother, but because she is concerned about
Other-
That people will think, but that her
she is
brother
concerned
was
about people's opinion, no? People, what will people think? What will people think that, okay, on this auspicious occasion, my brother has been killed before my. So that's why she is telling Krishna that it's an auspicious occasion, is the day of our marriage. So she is worried about people's opinion. And this is the reason why the gopis' prema is higher than the prema of the queens of Dvārakā. Because for the gopis, even public opinion does not matter. What action or activity of the gopis, which we have already seen in our past classes, show us that they are not concerned about public opinion.
what is it?
What activity of the gopis, which we have seen in the past, demonstrate that the gopis are not worried about public opinion, about what will people think.
Ras Leela?
Because though they were married, they did not worry that, they're leaving their husbands and going and having
Yes,
leelas
yes,
with Krishna,
yes, yes. So they would openly they would openly declare their love for Krishna, and they also left whatever they were doing and they went when Krishna played the flute. They dropped everything. Some of them left their children, some of them left their husbands, some of them left. They were not properly dressed. No, they were wearing the garments that go on the lower part of the body, on the upper part of the body, garments of the upper part of the body, on the lower part of the body, like that, because they just ran and they were so attracted to Krishna. They are not worried about people's opinion. For them, the only thing is love of Krishna. So, but Rukmiṇī, she is worried about public opinion. Rukmiṇī and also the queens of Dvārakā, for them public opinion matters, but for the Braja Gopis, public opinion does not matter at all. That's why their love is topmost. But Rukmiṇī does have the quality that other devotees, pure devotees have. What is that quality?
It is written that exclusive possessiveness of Vishnu in a loving relationship.
Exactly. See here. She does have exclusive possessiveness of Vishnu in a loving relationship. So it's not that she loves Krishna, but she also loves her brother. Her love is exclusively only for Krishna. So that exclusive possessiveness, that quality of a pure devotee is there in Rukmiṇī and also the queens of Dvārakā, is what Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur is explaining. So what is this exclusive possessiveness of Vishnu as described in the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu? When one is completely apathetic to all other objects and has developed an exclusive sense of ownership or possessiveness in relation to Lord Vishnu, thinking of Vishnu and no one else as his object of love, such an awakening is called Prema Bhakti by Bhishma, Prahlad, Uddhava, and Narada. So Ananya Mamta. So that Mamta, that devotion is Ananya, is for nobody else. It is only for Lord Vishnu. This is what, and that is what is Bhakti, according to Bhishma, Prahlad, Uddhava, and Narada. So this is what this verse means.
But Mataji,
Exclusive possessiveness.
even the gopis had extreme love and only love for Sri Krishna.
Yes, yes.
So,
Gopis, of course, they are topmost. They are topmost. There is nobody equal to the gopis when it comes to loving Krishna. Now, coming to the wives of Dvārakā, They also have exclusive possessiveness like the gopis, is what Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur is saying. But Rukmiṇī and the queens of Dvārakā, for them, public opinion matters. For the gopis, even the public opinion does not matter.
Yeah, but who is superior? Who is more superior in the spiritual path? No, where the
Gopis.
gopis.
Gopis, yes, the gopis.
So then, why are they comparing it over here to Rukmiṇī?
No, the point here is, see, the point is Rukmiṇī is pleading with Krishna to forgive Rukmi, right? So one may think that she also has attachment for her brother. So Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur is explaining that it's not that Rukmiṇī has attachment for her brother. She has exclusive love only for Krishna. Okay, so if she has exclusive love only for Krishna and not for her brother, then why is she pleading with Krishna to forgive him? Why? Because for her, public opinion matters. What will people say that my brother was killed in front of my eyes? This is the explanation.
Then this
But
last paragraph, what is it really? What is the real explanation for it?
For
when
what?
when one is the last paragraph, no, when one is completely apathetic to all other objects and has developed. That's why you
So when
explained
your
about.
love and your affection is for nobody else, but your love and affection is exclusively only for Lord Vishnu, then that is prema bhakti.
Okay.
This is what it means.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
But
So I was,
Mataji,
yes.
sorry, do you mean to say that only because of the public opinion she was pleading Krishna, or she did have love for her brother also?
No, it was for public opinion. Out of concern for public opinion, she has pleaded with Krishna to not kill. Yes, that's right. But she has exclusive affection only for Krishna, not for Rukmi. Because nothing else matters for a pure devotee.
Thank you.
You're welcome. See, I was hearing one class by Radheshyam Prabhu, and he gave one instructive story to understand this line, no, to have exclusive possessiveness of Vishnu in a loving relationship. So he was explaining how there was this new person who had joined the temple, and the spiritual master told him that, okay, you can chant your rounds, and this is how you chant your rounds, etc., etc. So he takes his Javamala, he goes and he sits under the tree on the banks of the river, and he's chanting the holy name, and he chants the holy name for 6 months, and then he tells the guru that, oh, I have been chanting for the past 6 months, but still Krishna has not appeared before me. And then he says that, okay, Krishna has not appeared before me, but at least I should have been rewarded for being for doing this chanting for the past 6 months. At least some apsara, some heavenly damsel should have come for me. No, so he's telling like this to the spiritual master. So the guru tells him, all right, I am going to the river for having a bath, and you come along. So he says, okay. And then the guru enters the waters, and the disciple enters the waters behind him. And then the guru, he holds the neck of the disciple from behind, and he puts him inside the water. And this disciple is struggling, and he wants to come out. He's struggling, but the guru does not allow him to come out for 1 or 2 minutes. And then he finally lets him come out of the water. So he said that when you were under the water, what was the one thing that you desperately wanted? So he said, air. I wanted air. So he said, what about apsaras? Did you want any apsaras at that time? So he said, no, I didn't want anything else. The only thing I wanted was air. So then the guru tells him that when you want exclusively one thing only, Krishna, that's when Krishna will come in front of you. That's when you can have the darshan of Krishna. So this is what this line means. To have exclusive possessiveness of Vishnu in a loving relationship. That is bhakti. Bhakti means anya abhilashita shunyam. I have no other desire but to serve Krishna. That is pure bhakti. So that, yes, Rukmiṇī and her and the other queens of Dvārakā, they did have this quality. Okay.
Wait, Mataji, have this quality or didn't have this quality?
Have
right?
this quality. Have this quality. Yeah. Did I say didn't have?
No, I was just, maybe I heard it wrong.
Okay. So they did have this quality. So the same verse is also there in the Chaitanya Charitamrita. If you want to see the word for word translation, you can read it when I share the slides in the group. Actually, this verse is quoted from the Narada Pancharatra. Srila Prabhupada gives us this information. And then it is quoted in the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. Okay, let's continue reading.
While Krishna was dealing with Rukmiṇī in this way, soldiers of the Yadu dynasty, commanded by Balram himself, broke the whole strength of Rukmi's army, just as an elephant in a pond discards the feeble stem of a lotus flower. In other words, as an elephant breaks the whole construction of a lotus flower while bathing in a reservoir of water, the military strength of Yadus broke up Rukmi's forces.
So with almost no effort, very effortlessly, Balram and his army have been able to defeat Rukmi and his army. Yeah, Shivani, you had your hand raised, I think so.
Yeah, Mataji, you just said previously when we were talking about the queens and the gopis. So I got confused. You said the queens had unalloyed devotional service
Yes,
towards Krishna.
yes,
But you said that the gopis are above them, right?
yes.
So I'm
Because for
confused.
the gopis, public opinion does not matter. But for the queens of Dvārakā, public opinion matters.
But why is that? I mean,
That's their nature. That's how they are. That is their nature. That's why the gopis are topmost, even higher than the queens of Dvārakā. The love of the gopis is even higher than the love of the queens of Dvārakā. Because of this reason, one reason is that public opinion does not matter to the queens of, does not matter to the gopis, but it does matter to the queens of Dvārakā. And this is the reason why Rukmiṇī requested Krishna not to kill Rukmi.
so then their service towards Krishna is
It's still
lower.
pure. It's still pure. There are different levels. I mean, there can be pure, purer, and purest.
Okay. So then the gopis are the purest.
Yes, undoubtedly.
Okay. Thank you, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yeah, this we already read. Next.
When the commanders of the Yadu dynasty came back to see Krishna, they were all surprised to see the condition of Rukmi. Lord Balram became especially compassionate towards his sister-in-law, who was newly married to his brother. To please Rukmiṇī, Balram personally untied Rukmi, and to further please her, Balram, as the elder brother of Krishna, spoke some words of chastisement. Krishna, your action is not at all satisfactory, he said. This is an abomination, very much contrary to our family tradition. To cut someone's hair and shave his mustache and beard is almost comparable to killing him. Whatever Rukmi might have been, he is now our brother-in-law, a relative of our family, and you should not have put him in such a condition.
So Balaram is chastising Krishna. The reason why he's chastising Krishna is because, what's the real reason?
This is not the family tradition, no?
Okay, but why is he saying this? Does he really mean it?
Rukmiṇī Mataji's to please Rukmiṇī.
To please Rukmiṇī. He's trying to pacify Rukmiṇī, and therefore Balaram is chastising Krishna lightly in order to please, in order to console Rukmiṇī. This is the reason why Balaram is chastising Krishna. Okay, let's continue. And of course, we read how he unties Rukmi. Let's continue.
After this, to pacify Rukmiṇī, Lord Balram said to her, "You should not be sorry that your brother has been made odd-looking. Everyone suffers or enjoys the results of his own actions." Lord Balram wanted to impress upon Rukmiṇī that she should not be sorry for the consequences her brother suffered due to his actions. There was no need of being too affectionate towards such a brother. Lord Balram again turned towards Krishna and said, "My dear Krishna, a relative, even though he commits such a blunder and deserves to be killed, should be excused. For when such a relative is conscious of his own fault, that consciousness itself is like death. Therefore, there is no need to kill him.
Let's continue.
Balram again turned towards Rukmiṇī and informed her that the current duty of the Kshatriya in human society is so fixed that according to the principles of fighting, one's own brother may become an enemy. Then a Kshatriya should not hesitate to kill his own brother. In other words, Lord Balram wanted to instruct Rukmiṇī that Rukmiṇī and Kṛṣṇa were right in showing no mercy to each other in the fighting. Despite the family consideration that they had happened to be brothers-in-law, Sri Balarama informed Rukmiṇī that Kshatriyas are typical emblems of the materialistic way of life. They become puffed up whenever there is a question of material acquisition. Therefore, when there is a fight between two belligerent Kshatriyas for kingdom, land, wealth, women, prestige, or power, they try to put one another into the most abominable condition. Balram instructed Rukmiṇī that her affection towards her brother Rukmiṇī, who had created enmity with so many persons, was a perverse consideration befitting an ordinary materialist. Her brother's character was not at all admirable, considering his treatment of his friends, and yet Rukmiṇī, like an ordinary woman, was affectionate towards him. He was not fit to be her brother, and still Rukmiṇī was lenient towards him.
Let's continue.
Besides that, Balram continued, the consideration that a person is neutral or is one's friend or enemy is generally made by persons in the bodily concept of life. Such foolish persons are bewildered by the illusory energy of the Supreme Lord. The spirit soul is of the same pure quality in any embodiment of matter. But those who are not sufficiently intelligent see only the bodily differences between animal and men, literates and illiterates, rich and poor, which cover the pure spirit soul. Such differences, observed merely on the basis of the body, are exactly like the differences between fire in terms of various types of fuel they consume. Whatever the size and shape of the fuel, there is no such variety of size and shape in the fire which comes out. Similarly, in the sky, there are no differences in size or shape.
Yeah, Shailesh, you have your hand raised?
Yeah, I wanted to ask, earlier we said that, she has unalloyed love for Krishna and there is no love for her brother. But now we are saying that she has leniency for her brother. So which one is it?
See, what we read here, that her Rukmiṇī, like an ordinary woman, was affectionate towards him. It was not fit, he was not fit to be her brother, and still Rukmiṇī was lenient towards him. This is what Balaram is saying. Because Balaram, he is seeing that she is pleading with Krishna not to kill her brother. So Balaram is saying that you should not be affectionate towards your brother. Okay. But the internal reason, as explained by our Acharya, is that the internal reason was that Rukmiṇī was concerned about public opinion. The Acharyas can give you an insight as to why Rukmiṇī did or why anybody has done what. So because she's not openly saying, right, the reason why I don't want Krishna to kill my brother is because I'm affectionate towards my brother. Balaram is saying this. But the internal reason, the insight that the Acharya gives us is, the reason is Rukmiṇī is concerned about public opinion. This is how we understand.
Okay.
Let's continue.
In this way, Balram reconciled the situation by his moral and ethical instructions to Rukmiṇī and Kṛṣṇa. To Rukmiṇī, he stated further, this body is a part of the material manifestation, consisting of the material elements, living conditions, and interactions of the three modes of material nature. The living entity or the spirit soul, being in contact with these, is transmigrating from one body to another due to illusory enjoyment, and that transmigration is known as material existence. This contact of the living entity with the material manifestation has neither integration nor disintegration. My dear chaste sister-in-law, the spirit soul is, of course, the cause of this material body, just as the sun is the cause of sunlight, eyesight, and forms of material manifestation.
So here Balaram is talking about how the soul remains unchanged. It's the body that changes, and how the soul is transmigrating from one body to another body. So this is a very, very important lesson. In the Bhagavad Gita also, Krishna explains how the soul remains unchanged, how the soul is qualitatively the same, as the same as the Lord himself, in the sense that the Lord is Satchit Ananda, eternal, full of knowledge and full of bliss. Even the soul is eternal, full of knowledge and full of bliss. But because the soul takes a material body, and the material body is undergoing changes, birth, death, disease, and old age. So as long as the soul is embodied, as long as the soul is in the material body, then the soul is conditioned by the kind of body that it has. For example, if the soul is in the body of a hog, then the hog is going to be eating stool and think that this is great, right? So like this, one is conditioned by the body that one has. So one transmigrates through 8,400,000 bodies, and at the end one gets the human body, where we can actually inquire into the spirit soul. So you can see here, when one is in the aquatic bodies, or when one is in the reptile body or the tree body, animal body, bird body, there is nobody inquiring. They are just transmigrating, right? One body to another body to another body to another body. But here, when we get a human body, now we can inquire, no? Athato Brahma Jigyasa, to inquire into the spirit soul. Who am I? Why am I here? Why is it that I don't like to die? Nobody likes to die, right? Why is it that I don't like to die? Why is it that I don't want to get any disease? Why is it that I don't like to grow old? So he starts to inquire. In the human body, we can inquire. Athato Atato Brahma Jigyasa, inquiry into the spirit soul. But that inquiry cannot be done in any other any other species. Therefore, this human life is very, very precious. Let's see, we have some hands raised. Shailesh?
It was raised from the previous question. I don't have any other question right now.
Okay. Priyanka?
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam. There is a statement that the contact of the living entity with the material manifestation has neither integration nor disintegration. Can you please explain this?
Okay, let's read from here. The living entity or spirit soul, being in contact with these, is transmigrating from one body to another due to illusory enjoyment, and that transmigration is known as material existence. This contact of the living entity with the material manifestation has neither integration nor disintegration. So the soul, when it comes into contact with the material body, neither it's going to integrate nor disintegrate, which means that it is not permanent. It is not permanent, because when the body disintegrates, the soul is going to take another body, and then another body, and so the soul, it's not something that um, is not integrated or disintegrated eternally, that body and soul relationship, because the soul is taking our body, it is transmigrating.
Thank
So
you,
it is
Mataji.
there, but it is not there. It's like you are one, at the same time you are different. It's like when you slice a watermelon, the seeds are one with the pulp of the fruit. They are one with it, but at the same time different, like that. It's not integrated, not disintegrated.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Let's continue.
The example of the sunshine and the material manifestation is very appropriate in understanding the living entity's contact with the material world. In the morning, the sun rises, and the heat and the light gradually expand throughout the whole day. The sun is the cause of all material shapes and forms, for it is due to the sun that integration and disintegration of material elements take place. But as soon as the sun sets, the whole manifestation is no longer connected to the sun, which is passed from one place to another. When the sun passes from the eastern to the western hemisphere, the results of the interactions due to the sunshine in the eastern hemisphere remain, but the sunshine itself is visible in the western hemisphere. Similarly, the living entity accepts or produces different bodies and different bodily relationships in a particular circumstance. But as soon as he gives up the present body and accepts another, he has nothing to do with the former body. Similarly, the living entity has nothing to do with the next body he accepts. He is always free from the contact of this bodily contamination. Therefore, continued Balram, the appearance and disappearance of the body have nothing to do with the living entity, just as the waxing and waning of the moon have nothing to do with the moon. When the moon waxes, we falsely think that the moon is developing. When it wanes, we think the moon is decreasing. Factually, the moon, as it is always the same. It has nothing to do with such visible activities of waning and waxing and waning.
So see the sun analogy that Balaram is explaining. So the sun causes so many changes for the earth throughout the day, right? Because the sun, there is life on earth. So the sun is causing so many changes on the earth every day. But the sun is aloof from the earth at all times. So in the same way, the soul is going through so many changes. It is changing so many bodies, but the soul and the body always remain separate. This is the sun analogy. And this moon analogy again, we see that the moon is waxing and waning. We see, so when there is Amavasya, then after that we see that the moon is increasing in size. Then after the full moon Purnima, again we see that the moon is reducing in size. But actually, is the moon reducing in size and increasing in size? No, right? We are thinking like that, but it's not actually happening. So in the same way, the appearance and disappearance of the body have nothing to do with the living entity, just as the waxing and the waning of the moon have nothing to do with the moon. Yeah, Aja, you have your hand raised.
Mataji, so sun has influence on all planets. Do you think there are beings in other planets too?
Yes, the Srimad Bhagavatam explains, and when Srila Prabhupada explains that there is life on every planetary system. Even on the sun planet, there are living entities who are living there.
Even in sun planet?
Yes, even in the sun planet, and their bodies are such that they can survive on the sun planet. We think, or the scientists think, that nobody can survive on the sun planet because it is blazingly hot. It has such high temperatures, and who can survive over there? But the living entities who are on the sun planet, their bodies are such that they can survive under those circumstances. So there is life, yes, everywhere on all planets.
And we cannot capture in our camera because we have been to moon and also sent some cameras, some equipments to Mars also, right? But we couldn't find any sign there.
See, the thing is, Srila Prabhupada said, man never went to the moon. They have sent rockets to space, but actually they never landed on the moon. And recently only I have shared on my Facebook page also how there is evidence that they never landed on the moon. And you just Google it, and YouTube also, there are many videos how this whole thing, the landing on the moon, was a hoax. How this was shot in some place in UK. Those pictures of man landing on the moon were actually shot in a studio in the UK, and how this whole thing was a hoax. So man did not land the moon, because to go to these other planets, one has to have the necessary qualification, spiritual qualification. One should have that much of karmic backing to be able to go to the higher planetary systems. Just because one is a scientist and one has some equipment, that doesn't mean that that person is qualified to enter the sun planet. Just as how you enter a country, you need a proper visa. Like that, the visa to enter the higher planetary systems is that you have to have the karmic balance for that, which a scientist, just on the basis of his scientific education, he's not going to be allowed to enter into these other planetary systems.
So, and I also heard somewhere that Pitrulokas and Moon, is that correct?
Pitraloka is what's your question? Pitraloka is what?
In moon is Pitruloka.
Pitraloka is situated in the lower planetary systems. Out of the 14 planetary systems, Pitraloka is in the lower planetary systems.
Okay.
It's like a temporary place where the ancestors reside before the judgment is passed by Yamaraj.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. Let's continue.
Imagine having a Bhagavatam class on the sun planet. Okay, Lord Balarama continued. One's consciousness in material existence can be compared to sleeping and dreaming. When a man sleeps, he dreams of many non-factual happenings, and as such, a result of dreaming, he becomes subject to different kinds of distress and happiness. Similarly, when a person is in the dream of material consciousness, he suffers the effects of accepting a body and giving it up again in material existence. Opposite to this material consciousness is Krishna consciousness. In other words, when a man is elevated to the platform of Krishna consciousness, he becomes free from this false conception of life. In this way, Sri Balram instructed Rukmiṇī in spiritual knowledge. He further addressed his sister-in-law thus: Sweet smiling Rukmiṇī, do not be aggrieved by false notions caused by ignorance. Only because of false notions does one become unhappy. But one can immediately remove this unhappiness by discussing the philosophy of actual life. Be happy on that platform only. You're on mute.
So what Balaram is explaining here is, when a man sleeps, he dreams of many non-factual happenings. And as a result of that dreaming, he becomes subject to different kinds of distress and happiness. So let's say one is having a dream. He's having a nightmare, that in his dream, somebody has broken into his house and somebody is robbing his house and he's been tied up and somebody is torturing him. Now it's all in his dream, right? So it's not really happening. But as long as it's happening in his dream, for him, the experience is real. He's actually feeling the torment of his house being robbed and him being tortured, isn't it? So as long as the dream lasts, that experience is very real for that person, right? But actually it's not happening. In the same way here in this material world, this whole experience in this material world is like a dream, in the sense that when we feel happiness or when we feel distress, actually the soul is beyond happiness and distress. The soul is always very happy. But we are thinking that in this material world, these materialistic things will give us happiness, and temporarily also it may give us some happiness, but actually that is not real happiness. It appears, the experience is as though yes, it is happiness, but actually it is not really giving us happiness. So this is the analogy that Balaram is giving. So this is the difference between materialistic consciousness and Krishna consciousness. In materialistic consciousness, happiness and distress is not really giving us that real happiness or distress. In spiritual consciousness, that happiness is real happiness. Of course, in spiritual consciousness, there is no question of any distress. There it is only unlimited bliss. The mood in the spiritual world is ever increasing bliss. There is bliss. There is always bliss. But that bliss also is always increasing. There is more bliss the next day than the previous day. There is more bliss the next moment than the previous moment. That is the mood in the spiritual world. So here in this picture, there is distress because they are on a materialistic platform, But here this person is very happy, even though he may not possess anything materially, but he is very happy and joyful because he is in Krishna consciousness. Let's continue.
After hearing such enlightening instructions from Sri Balram, Rukmiṇī immediately became pacified and happy and adjusted her mind, which was very much afflicted by the degraded position of her brother Rukmiṇī. As far as Rukmiṇī was concerned, his promise was not fulfilled, nor was his mission successful. He had come from home with his soldiers and military phalanx to defeat Kṛṣṇa and release his sister, but on the contrary, he lost all his soldiers and military strength. He was personally degraded and very sorry, but by the grace of the Lord, he could continue his life to its fixed destination. Because he was a Kshatriya, he could remember his promise and that he would not return to he could remember his promise that he would not return to the capital city Kundina without killing Kṛṣṇa and releasing his sister, which he had failed to do. Therefore, he decided in anger not to return to his capital city, and he constructed a small cottage in the village known as Bhojakata, where he resided for the rest of his life.
So Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur explains this word Bhoja Kata. What does it mean? No, he says Bhoja means experience and Kata means vow. So Bhoja Kata is the place where Rukmi experienced misery as a result of his vow to offer Rukmini to Shishupal. This is what that name means, Bhoja Kata. Let's continue.
After defeating all the opposing elements and forcibly carrying away Rukmini, Krishna brought her to his capital city, Dvārakā, and then married her according to the Vedic ritualistic principles. After this marriage, Krishna became the king of the Yadus at Dvārakā. On the occasion of his marriage to Rukmini, all the inhabitants were happy, and in every house there were great ceremonies. The inhabitants of Dvārakā city were so much pleased that they dressed themselves with nicest possible ornaments and garments, and they went to present gifts according to their means to the newly married couple Krishna and Rukmini. All the houses of Yadupuri, Dvārakā, were decorated with flags, feastoons, and flowers. Each and every house had an extra gate specifically prepared for this occasion, and on both sides of the gate were big water jugs filled with water. The whole city was made fragrant by the burning of fine incense, and at night there was illumination from thousands of lamps which decorated every building.
Let's continue.
The entire city appeared jubilant on the occasion of Lord Krishna's marriage with Rukmini. Everywhere in the city, there were profuse decorations of banana trees and betel nut trees. These two trees were considered very auspicious and happy ceremonies. At the same time, there was an assembly of many elephants who carried the respective kings of different friendly kingdoms. It is the habit of the elephant that whenever he sees some small plants and trees, out of his sportive, frivolous nature, he uproots the trees and throws them hither and thither. The elephants assembled on this occasion also scattered the banana and betel nut trees. But in spite of such intoxicated action, the whole city, with the trees thrown here and there, looked very nice.
Let's continue.
The friendly kings of the Kurus and the Pandavas were represented by Bhishma, Dhritarashtra, and the 5 Pandava brothers, King Drupada and King Santardana, and Rukmini's father Bhishmaka. Because of Krishna's kidnapping Rukmini, there was initially some misunderstanding between the two families, but Bhishmaka, the king of Vidarbha, began being approached by Sri Balarama and persuaded by many saintly persons, was induced to participate in the marriage ceremony of Krishna and Rukmini. Although the incident of the kidnapping was not a very happy occurrence in the kingdom of Vidarbha, kidnapping was not an unusual affair among Kshatriyas. Kidnapping was in fact current in almost all their marriages. Anyway, King Bhishmaka was from the very beginning inclined to hand over his beautiful daughter to Krishna. In one way or another, his purpose had been served, and so he was pleased to join the marriage ceremony. And even though his eldest son was degraded in the fight, it is mentioned in the Padma Purana that Maharaj Nanda and the cowherd boys of Vrindavan joined the marriage ceremony. Kings from the kingdoms of Kuru, Shrinjaya, Kekaya, Vidarbha, and Kunti all came to Dvārakā on this occasion and met one another very joyfully.
So who else has come to attend this marriage ceremony of Krishna and Rukmini?
Kunti.
Pandavas.
Bhishma is there. Dhritarashtra.
Nanda Maharaj.
Which Maharaj?
Los pastorcillos de vaca.
¿Cuál?
Los pastorcillos de vaca también estuvieron ahí.
Yes, the cowherd men of Vrindavan have also come. Nanda Maharaj has also come for the marriage. Even Bhishmaka, Rukmini's father, has come, no? Because remember, from the very beginning, he wanted to hand over his daughter to Krishna. So actually, Krishna was, for him, he wanted Krishna to become his son-in-law. And so even Bhishmaka has come, although his son, Rukmini, was disfigured by Krishna. So it's a very nice union of all these other friendly kings from the other kingdoms. Relatives have come, and also Rukmini's father has come for the marriage. Let's continue.
The story of Rukmini being kidnapped by Krishna was poeticized, and professional readers recited it everywhere. All the assembled kings and their daughters especially were struck with wonder and very much pleased upon hearing the chivalrous activities of Krishna. In this way, all the visitors, as well as the inhabitants of Dwarka city, were joyful to see Krishna and Rukmini together. In other words, the goddess of fortune was now united with the Supreme Lord, the maintainer of everyone, and thus all the people felt extremely jubilant. This ends the Bhaktivedanta purport of the 54th chapter of Krishna. Krishna defeats all the princes and takes Rukmini home to Dwarka.
On that note, by the mercy of Sri Guru and Sri Krishna, we come to the end of today's presentation. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Does anybody have any questions or comments?
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
A few days back, I was reading Bhagavad Gita, and there it was also mentioned that the soul is an immovable. So, can
What
you
is
explain?
immovable?
Immovable. The soul is an immovable.
Yeah, because nobody can come and force the soul to go from one place to another place. For example, nobody can say, okay, the soul is present in the heart, so I'm going to cut open the heart and I'm going to place the soul under the microscope and see how the soul looks under the microscope. Nobody can move the soul from one place to another place.
But still the soul moves from one body to another, right?
Yeah, because the soul is transmigrating. The soul then takes another body. Immovable means you cannot go, or I cannot go, or anybody cannot go and move the soul from one place to another. It takes another body by the law of karma, like that. It cannot be artificially moved because somebody wants it to move a certain way. That's how I understand it.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
And Mataji, when Krishna has kidnapped Rukmini, she has already accepted him as a husband before the ceremony, right?
Yes, because in their heart already they have accepted each other as husband and wife. So remember, Rukmini has heard about Krishna, and Krishna also has heard about Rukmini. He tells, no, when he reads Rukmini's letter, Krishna tells that, oh, I have also heard about Rukmini. So in their heart, they have already accepted each other as husband and wife. Yes, but the ceremony is performed.
Okay.
So Mataji, I have a question. So first, he was about the cities. He was in why Dwarka now? I'm a little confused there. Why
Yeah.
was he in Dwarka, not in Vrindavan, then Mathura, and then could we just go around the sequence again?
Yes, we'll go around the sequence.
Yeah.
See, Krishna was born in Mathura, right?
Correct.
And then
Yeah.
upon birth, he was moved to Vrindavan because of Kamsa's danger.
Uh-huh.
Then he was moved to Vrindavan. Then from Vrindavan, he went to Mathura when he received an invitation from Kamsa, saying that, okay, you come. So Kamsa was informed by Narada Muni, right? That person
Correct.
who you are
Yeah.
looking for is Krishna. So like that, when Kamsa sent the invitation to Krishna, Krishna has gone to Mathura and he has killed Kamsa, and he has appointed his grandfather as the king of Mathura. Now Jarasandha is attacking Krishna, and in order to protect the people of Mathura, he creates this fort, Dvāraka, right in the middle of the sea for protecting the residents from the attack of Jarasandha. That's how now he is in Dvāraka and he's established his kingdom there and he's residing there.
Oh, because he already defeated Jarasandha in 18, I mean, he tried 18 times and He couldn't win them. But he's still in Dvārakā, that means now.
Yes, he's still, he has constructed there, and the people he has transported, or he has shifted the people from Mathura to Dvārakā for their protection, and now they are residing there in Dvārakā.
Okay.
Okay, what else?
Then in Mathura, who was staying?
It's only
in
described that the residents were moved from Mathura to Dvārakā.
Dvārakā, okay.
Yeah.
And then Ugrasen means father of Kamsa. Then where was he? He was also shifted over there, or in Mathura only?
It's not specifically mentioned if Ugrasena also was shifted or no. I don't know. It's not mentioned.
So
But
only residents.
because Ugrasena
It was
was the
mentioned
king
that.
of Mathura, and but in Dvārakā it was Kṛṣṇa who was the king in Dvārakā. So I don't know really if Ugrasena also was shifted, or only some part of the population was shifted.
I think
I don't
Ugrasen
know.
was shifted because the last time when he made Dwarka, it was mentioned that they might attack his family members. So Ugrasen and his mother and father were his only family members, I believe.
Okay. Yes, that could be a possible situation.
Thank you.
Or maybe because
Hare Krishna.
we don't know further if they come back to Mathura after Jarasandha is killed. I don't know. We have to see further in Krishna book if there is any information.
Thank you, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
But that's a long way off, right? Because Bhim has to come in the picture and...
Yeah, but we've crossed almost 2/3 of Krishna book syllabus. We have 1/3 left. A little more than 1/3.
Mataji, how old is Krishna now?
Yeah, so I tried to search for this information. How old was Krishna when he got married to Rukmiṇī? But I'm not getting information from a bona fide source. Of course, if you Google it, then there are answers given on Google. But I'm not able to read from a Shastric bona fide source. So I better not comment on it.
All right. And it's mentioned, I think, in the chapter that Rukmiṇī was 13.
Yes, that's right. But see, somehow you can calculate Krishna's age in the sense that when he was around 12 when he killed Kamsa, and then he has warded off 18 attacks of Jarasandha, right? 18 attacks, and after that only he has got married to Rukmiṇī. So definitely Krishna is not a teenager; he is much more than that.
Should be 16, 15.
No, much more than a teenager, because 18 attacks he has warded off of Jarasandha. So Jarasandha has been defeated. He goes and he collects a huge army. He gathers the army. He makes alliances, gathers more demonic forces, and then he comes to kill Krishna. And then again Krishna defeats. Again he goes and he gathers another army. So it's not so fast also that it can happen. See, there are non-bona fide sources that give an age, but I don't want to say, because I don't like to say anything out of Shastra. So I don't want to speculate.
I understand. Not a problem. Thank you, Mataji.
You're welcome. So if I can find, if there is any, if I get the opportunity to ask a senior devotee, a guru, then I will ask this question and then I will inform. Okay, so what do we learn from this entire episode of Krishna and Rukmiṇī's marriage? The whole thing started with what? It started because Rukmiṇī had heard about the glories of Krishna from senior Vaishnavas, like Narada Muni, no? So the whole thing that set this thing rolling for Krishna Rukmiṇī Vivaha is that she heard about the glories of Krishna. So that's why in devotional life, Shravanam, hearing, is very, very important. To hear and to hear from bona fide sources. So Sadhu Sangha is the first lesson that we hear, that we can gather from this whole episode of Krishna Rukmiṇī Vivaha. Okay, so now she has heard from the bona fide sources, and so she has developed some attraction for Krishna. So when we hear about Krishna from bona fide sources, we can also develop an attraction for the Lord. Okay, now Rukmiṇī has developed an attraction for the Lord. So does she just sit and do nothing about it? No, she acts on it. No, she is proactive. She is acting on it. So she sends a letter to Krishna through the Brahmana. So when we develop an attraction for Krishna, we have to do something about it, right? We express our love for Krishna. She has expressed her love for Krishna through the letter. We can express our love for Krishna through our prayers. When we pray to the Lord, when we chant the holy name, we are expressing our love for Krishna. Because if we are chanting the name of somebody, then it only because I love that person, right? Otherwise, why will I chant the name of anybody, right? So we express our love by chanting the holy name, by offering prayers to the Lord. So Rukmiṇī also expressed her love. And then how did she express her love? She didn't directly approach Krishna. She has sent her expression of love, her letter, through a trusted Brahmana. So that person, that point of contact for us with the Lord is the bona fide spiritual master. So the spiritual master helps to deliver our message to the Lord and then deliver back the Lord's message to us. So the spiritual master is the via medium through which we can connect to the Lord, just as how Rukmiṇī connected to the Brahmana. And then Brahmana also came back and gave her the good news that yes, Krishna has also accepted you as his wife and he is going to act upon what you have written in the letter. So that person is the spiritual master for us. So these are the lessons that we can learn. And also Krishna reciprocated to what Rukmiṇī has asked for. So God will always reciprocate with the love of his devotees. This is how Krishna reciprocated to Rukmiṇī's letter. Because there Rukmiṇī is actually representing a devotee of the Lord and Krishna is God. So we see how God will always reciprocate with the love of his devotee. Because God is a person. God is a person who reciprocates with love and affection. God is not just an energy or some distant being in some distant place. He is very much in our heart and he understands our emotions. Yes, God is present in Goloka. He is present in Vaikuntha. He is present in some other material world also. He is performing his pastimes. Definitely. He is also present in the Murti. He is also present in the Archa Vigraha. He is also present in our heart. So God reciprocates to our feelings. He knows exactly what we think, what we feel. So he reciprocates just as how he reciprocated with Rukmiṇī. So these are the lessons we learn from this entire episode of marriage of Krishna and Rukmiṇī. Okay. Are we ready for the exam?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Just bring up the link. Okay, the link is in your chat right now.